It's one of the rules. If you're doing a chemical reaction, you have to give off light. It's some law. It doesn't happen unless it has to give off energy of some kind. Light is energy, right? So if any electron moves to a different orbital, it's by law, it gives off some kind of energy, or it does. It has to give off light. It's kind of interesting because it can tell you what's going on through some kind of like radio signal, you know? It's almost like you're doing a reaction, it gives off certain electrons that mean orbitals are changing at a certain rate. You can follow all that. And then you can like imagine what is happening. And then you have to build a model. Like carbon isn't a C. It doesn't even know what C is, you know? It's all just a field. If you break that even down, it's just programming, and you're understanding the initial program enough so then you can use it. Because it's all like building blocks of things.
Yeah.
So you can just make bigger and bigger, you know. What I did was try to make conscious molecules. And I was thinking, how would you make a conscious molecule? I thought consciousness is almost like it's the outer field of something, you know? It's not like any part, like our consciousness for our body isn't our liver or our eyes or our brain. It's the entire piece.
Yeah.
So if you want a conscious atom or molecule made of them, many atoms which are individuals, you really want the atoms to not be separate atoms anymore, like I'm not all the blood cells. You want the atoms to become one and have outer things. So they call that resonance.
Yeah.
They actually, you can do that. That's what benzene is. It's 6 carbons that all share electrons, and it becomes a circle, and everything's the same. It becomes one that's greater than any of the 6 parts. And that's how you build things, you know? But you certainly have to believe that you're doing this. Otherwise, they don't even do what you want them to do. You got to know. Well, you're creating a whole place to put them in, you know? So you're making something out of nothing.
Yeah.
But you have to at least have no doubts as to what you're doing to get, you know, I mean, you can follow stuff, but really to know is to create. That's good enough today here on that. Getting a little lost here.
Yeah, no, we listen.
I'm finding good garlics here, man. I mean,
good. I see some fatties. I think the outer ones are better. You know, look at that one. That's one.
Yeah, I felt like I was in a good class, man.
Yeah.
It had my energy, like.
Yeah, exactly. My first period was always my favorite. I would go in there, and everyone would be kind of, even me. I listened to myself talk. I even watch myself play guitar because I'm a guitarist. And it's really good when you're just standing back enjoying yourself playing, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the outer banks, you know? The further you can separate from yourself and then look at yourself, the more you can just appreciate the whole situation or navigate through anything.
Yeah.
A lot easier, I would say, because you aren't all these.
When you was talking about the tables and stuff, man, a lot of people don't know there's a lot of elements and stuff missing too as well. Like that we don't.
Well, that could be. It's just like in music, they have the scales that they play in India. So there's just, I don't know, there's like 11 notes, octave. It's an octave, 12 notes or something, but it repeats. Maybe it's 11 notes. But there's like 20 something notes, I think, in India.
Yeah.
Like, and all music's based on in this area. I mean, anywhere. Few places will play anything that doesn't have those same notes.
They probably use 6 now in today's generation.
Yes, right.
You know?
No, well, it's an octave. You know, it's a scale. It's a chromatic scale. It's just. But anyway, who decided that? It's almost like who decided that everything would repeat in 7 days? Is that a limitation? Would you make a program that repeats every 7 days, or why don't you just choose? How about something that changes? You know, periodically. You can go from 5 days a week to a 9-day week. You know what I mean? Something that's interesting. How about that follows a...
I need 9 days. You what you talking about,
9 days. So
give me 9 days. You're right, Rick. I need 9 days. What about I can do it in 1 day, you know? 1 day took all these days that I thought was 7 days.
Because everything repeats, because different days you might wake up, but it's a Saturday, you're going to behave differently. Your beliefs are different. But, you know,
each of the days is ruled by, you know, when you start studying like astrology, you look at the planets, like Monday is moon day. It's got to do with the moon. Saturday's Saturn. Sunday's the sun. And they're all named after these planetoids of sort, you know, the celestials. So the energy is always different. So like Friday, that's when everybody's going out. You know, Saturday, the weekend.
Yeah.
But the weekend, when you look at that the word week is W-E-E-K, but it can also be spelled W-E-A-K. So there's like with the etymology of the words, trying to figure out like one of the concepts I had years ago was 36 o'clock. I had this idea and I talked about it all the time. I was like 36 o'clock. What the hell does that mean? I said we need at least 36 hours in a day, not 24. It ain't enough.
Yeah.
Like, we need another 12 hours.
We do. We
can work 12 hours. We can play 12 hours, and then we can sleep 12 hours, or at least 8 hours or whatever they say. But why do we need to even sleep? What's up with that? Why we wasted a third of our life in the sleep? Well, that's when we're going to the astral realms or refueling or something.
Days have personalities.
I feel you on that.
Days have personalities, and certain times of days too.
Yeah.
Like, you're thinking, okay, it's Monday night at 10 o'clock. It's like, whoa, you might as well just give up.
Who knows, man? It
How
might
about
be
Saturday?
3 million right
But
now.
if you know it's Saturday night at 10 o'clock, you're gonna have other possibilities, but they're the same thing.
Yeah.
There's no difference.
Well, the ones that
There's
rule the
no
world,
difference.
we just switched today. It's the first full day of the Jubilee year.
Yeah.
So we just left the 7-year Shemitah of the Hebrew calendars. 5783 is the year right now. We just turned it over this weekend with Rosh Hashanah was on Sunday. So now the energy is getting ready to shift. Like even us having this conversation couldn't have happened before today, maybe. Like for real. Like you starting your podcast, you had to wait till after this. We're in the news. I
would have had to call Malcolm up. He would have had to been free. We didn't plan any of this.
I didn't plan it.
No.
I don't talk about the podcast and nothing. It was like it was all happening within
I think Malcolm
some hours
here.
ago.
I was like, I feel Malcolm.
Well,
like, come get some garlic.
I was even pondering it with like Ricky, you and the farm here. Because I check out a lot of farming YouTube channels, and they're crushing it, man, right now.
Yeah.
Like they're crushing it with views and stuff because of what's going on in the world right now, especially.
Yeah, and people want to hear it,
Even any little idea, but I was thinking, well, shit, Rick, you and Lisa could do your music on there. You could do your gardening stuff on there. You can talk about whatever topic you want to talk about.
Yeah, Sky Pipe.
Well, just stay away from the controversial shit.
Just stay away from that. And that's what it took me long to get to YouTube. I attacked every other platform, but now, like, since I'm about to do more YouTube content. It just, what he was saying, you have to learn how to stay out the way. Like,
you gotta stay away from the political shit. You gotta stay away from the medicine shit.
Is that still recording?
Yeah, it is.
So to finish the story, the only other time I had to completely trust at this haunted house that the Warrens were afraid of, right? The most feared, like exorcists, all ghosts run away from them. Those little dolls and stuff spin their heads.
Yeah.
All that's been documented with these people. Anyway, they said they were afraid of this place, left.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shh. We had an Oktoberfest party there, and people drank a whole bunch because there was 2 kegs of Spaten beer, half kegs. This is at University of Connecticut. It was just a partying group of people showed up. Anyway, these twin brothers get just so drunk, and each of them were so nice people, the O'Briens.
Oh, do you want the shells on them or what?
No, they can be on there, yeah. Just throw them in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they'll
all I'm looking for is the ones that don't have yellow.
Anyway, those guys show up and drink a whole lot. They got possessed by the spirit, and they were twins. So they would look at you and accuse you of stuff that you did in the past that you did, and the stuff you felt guilty about in your head. They would know what you were feeling guilty about, and then accuse you of it. And one would agree with the other. It was an unbelievable combo. So I was jamming in the barn as I always would be. I didn't care about any of that kind of haunted stuff. I didn't want anything to do with the house. I was in the barn because we kind of moved a lot in the barn to get out of the house because it was a haunted house. The barn was okay. So we had a jam room up there. I'm out there. There's like 100 people out in the barn listening to our band. And we're having a good old time. And all of a sudden, everyone from the house left and went in the barn. They were crying. Everyone was like, there's a devil in the house. And I was like, so I had to go deal with this, because I'm the only one, It's like, Jesus, no one else is going to deal with this, They're all drunk. I had a little buzz on, but I was okay. And I walk in the house, and there are these people that are pinned against the wall, right?
Yeah.
Like of fear. And they're harassing this one dude about sometime he spit on his brother. His brother had died in a car crash the year before. Like, they didn't even know that guy. And they were telling him all about his past, and you used to spit on your brother hated you. The guys are crying. And he looks at it, and he looks at me, And he goes, I can't even say what he said, but he goes, what about those mushrooms? Because he knew the only thing I truly feared was, like having some psychedelic mushrooms and getting caught. And he looks at me. I don't know if you can put that on there. These days it should be legal, but it's not. Anyway, my biggest fear in my head was to get busted in Connecticut manufacturing psilocybin mushrooms or something. I knew how to grow mushrooms, But anyway, that guy could see that, I had I'm not going to say anything, but shit scared the crap out of me. I just ran right upstairs. I went in my bedroom like, whoa. Everyone else was pinned in it.
Yeah.
I think the guy scared the crap out of me. I walked back down to him, and I go, where are you from? Because I asked him, and he goes, you see that dot? And he points in the air, and there's a little glowing orb, man, and a little dot going, and I'm like, whoa. And he goes, I'm from a place like that, but much farther away. And I know he's telling the truth. I'm like, shit. I run back upstairs, get my breath up there again, Come back downstairs, and then I just like, the only way to deal with people like that is to love them and just have no fear and no doubts. And that's what I did. And
so this entity that was on the person that was able to read these people's minds, including yours, is these entities.
It wasn't my buddies. It wasn't my two buddies at all. They had no memory of this. So right. I loved them. I go, how are you guys doing? I put my hand on them, and I'm like, do you guys need any food? I really felt for them, and then they just both passed out right there on the ground. And then they got up about, 10 seconds later. They're like, what's going on? They had no idea. Two of them had no idea. And it turns out one of them, Scott O'Brien, died at the World Trade Center. He died when 9/11. That dude died in 9/11 in the Trade Center. He worked there. Isn't that a trip?
Yeah,
I actually knew someone who died there. That dude, that one dude.
My cousin was in the building when it happened. He was a survivor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Survived.
So that entity was taking over your people, but what it was able to do.
I wasn't talking to my friend Steve or Scott. No.
I'm saying, like, it knew secrets about people. The way
it did,
the way it knows is because it can see the informed field around this person. It can read your.
And the more fear I had, the more it could read the fear. If I had no fear, and that's the whole thing I was saying the third time I had to have no fear, I just loved it completely.
Right.
Had no fear that it's the devil or some kind of weird dark force, and it went away, and I beat it, And
you beat it with a frequency that it couldn't handle.
It couldn't handle. It passed out. They passed out.
Right. It had to leave.
I was a scientist, man. I'm in the PhD program at UConn, and for chemistry. And this isn't something I ever believed in or thought about, but I knew it was a haunted house supposedly. But it did. There was growling in the attic all the time. There was chains and
so
bushes.
We have access to these informed fields of ourselves, but these entities, because they're already etheric, they always have contact with it. So that's how they mess with people. And they put fear and guilt.
Yeah, anyway, as soon as the fear went away, I had no fear. The only way to get rid of these dudes was to have no fear, because they have to latch on to something. If you have no fear, maybe that's how it is.
Yeah.
If you have no fear, there's nothing. They just go whoosh, and you've eliminated. It's like delete.
Yeah.
It's like delete. The only way to do that is to have no fear, which is a hard task.
Well, especially when you're in the fire.
You got to believe it, man. Yeah, it's true. I don't know what gave me that
knowing.
Yeah, the knowing. The guy I saved his life, Larry, who was about to get stabbed.
Yeah.
He died. He had a brain aneurysm. I don't know, about 3 years ago. I had a dream with him, and it was a really interesting dream. A little kid went up to me and tugged on my jacket and said, "Come this way." I didn't even know he was leading me. He led me to this looked like a hospital, and then through these doors. And I had a bunch of stuff, and I had to leave it at the door. I wasn't allowed to bring it in. That was interesting. And I went in, and there's a room, and there Larry is dead. And there's a bunch of people around. I'm real concerned and all down and everything. And I just look at the whole scene, and I go, "Larry." I go, "Get up." And he did. He woke right up. I go, "Come on." And I grabbed him. And he goes, "Where are we going?" And I go, "Up there." And he goes, "How far?" And I go, "Really, really far."
Yeah.
And I flew up in the air. Seriously, I remember this dream like it was just yesterday. And I threw him into the air, and he just went, yahoo! He was free. And my belief there, too, he's not dead. Get up, Larry. Get up, Larry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's so
Get
weird.
your ass up,
Yeah.
Larry.
Yeah. And it worked in the stream world I was in. I believe I set him free because everyone was holding him down. It's true when you die and stuff. Like the Tibetans want you to be free. They're smart. They know. They have Book of the Dead and all that. They study that stuff. That's what they do. Anyway, they say you got to free up your mind. You free up the person. Let them go. Say everything's good. You did your job. Move on. You got to let them move on.
Time to move on.
This is conflict. But anyway, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's funny that I saw him again in my dream like that. I've never done that, and I knew right away what to do. I didn't expect to see Larry dead in there. It was a shock to me. In the dream, this little kid kept leading me down a hallway. We go in a room, and there's Larry dead. And there's like, I don't know, 5 or 6 people all around him. It's like a hospital bedroom. And I'm like, Larry, get up. We're going. It's like, get up. He goes, okay. And he goes, where are we going? And I go, out there. And he goes, how far? And I go, really, really far. He goes, over the hill. You mean up in the Sierras? You're in California? Yeah. And I go, no, even farther. And he goes, yeah. And I grab him, and I flew into the air like Superman or something in this dream.
Like Superman.
It was cool. Superman. I feel like Larry was a special guy, too. He really was. He's the guy, he could pick bees up in his hand. He never feared bees, and they never attacked him. He would go in a house, a swarm of bees would come in the house, and they would all collect on his hands, and he would stand outside, and they would all fly off. And he'd go, no, I got this. He'd pick up wasps, gnarly ass, whatever it was. They would come in a lot.
Living life on the edge.
Yeah, Larry.
You got no fear of them.
Rest in peace to Larry.
Oh, another Larry story. Larry moved out in the middle of the hills of Mendocino County, where I lived for 17 years, way up in Laytonville and Spy Rock. And anyway, when he was a kid, he went to a Jimi Hendrix show. He went to all these shows, and then he just took off, and there was 40 acres for sale, and only needed like a little bit down, like $500. And he did it. He bought 40 acres way out in the middle of nowhere.
Hey, man, I wish I can go back now.
Yeah. So anyway, years later, right? Everyone's like, man, you got to meet this other guy. He's just like you. And he kept hearing about each other. And finally, after like 10 years, he went over and he met the guy, and they were talking. And it turns out they start talking about their relatives down in Santa Barbara. And then they're like, you mean Uncle Charlie? And the guy's like, yeah, Uncle, you have an Uncle Charlie? Yeah, I have an Uncle Charlie.
Well, that's the Matrix, bro.
They were brothers. They were brothers, and they lived less than like 10 miles apart. Wow. And hundreds of miles from Santa Barbara. This is like 400 miles from Santa Barbara, 300 miles. I don't know the way.
Yeah.
Anyway, they ended up on the same mountain in the middle of nowhere, like a place that has no matrix, empty folders, next to each other. And relatively, our neighbors were like a mile apart there, Yeah. I mean, there's only like 50 people for like, 30.
So you think Bill Gates won all the empty folders, man?
Yeah, right?
That's what I think.
Anyway, so.
To speak of it.
Wow.
Something to think about now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, and he found out it was his brother, Don. Don and Larry Douglas.
Introduced me to something that's taken in place in several different places more than one time, more than what you think.
You know what's also interesting?
What about Bill Gates is like poor?
What about his what?
Like, what about he's poor in the other, like, in another place? Like, he's just like a homeless guy on the corner or something.
Fucking
and everybody hate him in this world. That's crazy. That's crazy.
All I know is this, Larry.
It could be like that.
Let me finish the Larry story. This is a special guy. And now, when he went into the service, he got drafted, or he joined, I forget. Anyway, he could hear shit no one could hear. They had to discharge him, honorably discharge, and then he actually went through these doors. He wasn't allowed to, and he went to where it was, and it turns out they were testing this supersonic, hypersonic freaking weapon thing, and at this base he was at, and it was driving him crazy. He was the only one that could hear it. He could hear it. He found them, and then they let him go. They said, "Okay, we're going to let you go as long as you."
He got lucky to let go because that's when they usually take you away.
Yeah. Well,
and they start testing on you.
He didn't really talk about that until like way later. Anyway, it's just like me. How did I get there too? I got there. I met my boss's old girlfriend in a bar 3,000 miles from Boston in Laytonville, California. I mean, I happened to randomly sit down from the guy who I just quit's ex-girlfriend from Drexel University, and later got to be good friends with her. She told me about the job I got out there, and director of research for Biogest, and got to be good friends with her. And later, her friend Rick Lucini, my old boss, comes out and visits. Yeah, it's the same guy. It's my old boss. So I drove 3,500 miles from Boston, ended up in a bar called the Crossroads, sitting down next to my boss's ex-girlfriend from college.
And she at the Crossroads.
Yeah, I met her at the Crossroads. And then that led to me getting a job there. She told me about the job I got as director of research there, and I did. And my wife got the job. My first wife got the job as a teacher, and she told her, at the bar. We both did exactly what she said. For the next 17 years, I lived that reality. And isn't that weird? And I drove all the way out there. I didn't stop. The only other place I stopped, I saw Clandeichen playing Portland at the Saturday Market, and I became their guitarist in 5 years later, and I didn't even know that. And I could hear the park watching them 5 years earlier. I could hear my guitar park, and I didn't know why. And it was all there.
Meet me at the Crossroads.
Yeah, and at the Crossroads was a Clandeichen poster on the wall, and they had it in the jukebox.
You know the story of the Crossroads, right?
Yeah. You probably know a little more.
Well, Robert Johnson's like the most famous musician. You know who Robert Johnson is?
Yeah.
He was like the original blues.
Yeah. He was the devil's own player.
That's where he said he got his power was down at the Crossroads.
Oh,
he made
yeah,
a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
Tubal Cain,
I know who you're talking about.
who's the keeper of the
I
Crossroads.
think I seen that.
Hell
movie
yeah,
before, too.
brother.
I think I seen that they made a movie off of that.
Yeah.
too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's been a few movies though. Oh, brother, we're out now.
Well, listen
They
to
made a
his
movie, that movie
listen
was
to his
talking
music.
about it.
It was different. I mean,
No,
he
he
got a
got.
lot
He
of
said.
power,
He
man.
said. That, he said I went down to the Crossroads.
He got
the devil gave me this here guitar. Go listen to. He was the creator. That's where Elvis and all
rock and roll.
all the
man.
rock and roll came from. Was this guy.
Power, man. It's a sexual energy, is what it is.
Well, he got it at the Crossroads, what he claimed, but he
You
died.
hold your
He was
guitar
the first
right
member
here,
of the
baby.
27
Look,
Club.
you're holding your guitar down here,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that is the most sexual thing there is,
Yeah.
really. You got all this electronic shit hooked up to this long thing sticking out. It's kind of strange. But anyway, yeah, that's a lot of power.
Well, you see the power behind it. I mean, how it can
I love the
cast a spell over people.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't
For
know.
better or
Have
for
you ever
worse.
been to a concert where the girls are like passing out from the energy? You ever seen that before?
I was told I knocked someone over at one of our shows. This guy from the Ohm Farm, I forget his name, Michael. From the Ohm Farm said to me, that was an amazing solo. It knocked me over. He said it truly knocked him over. He went down.
I've seen it. I've only
I
seen
did.
it one time, and that was I went and saw Michael Jackson back in his first big tour
At that same
in
show,
1984.
At that
and the
same
girls
show-
were passing out.
at the
like
same
a
show,
motherfucker.
it was the Tribal Stomp, Trinity Tribal Stomp. Owsley, the guy who invented all the acid and started the entire 60s tripping thing, gave me a gold lightning bolt. And that guy from the Ohm Farm, Michael, told me I knocked him over with a solo. And that other dude came up, I didn't know at the time, he gave me a gold, he handmade gold, Owsley gave me a gold lightning bolt. And I threw it in my van, cigarette ashtray, and someone stole it. So it went right through me like electricity. It's crazy, but
Well,
I actually met Owsley. I didn't even know. I didn't know it was Owsley.
But you weren't trying to mess with anybody. You were
No,
playing.
I was just having a good time.
Yeah,
Having good energy.
That energy can knock somebody back in a good way. I mean, meaning they
He
hit with
liked
that
it.
frequency.
Well, you know, he did. He
and then
did
they
have
go, whoa,
He
whoa.
was kind of handicapped, so it was pretty easy to knock him over. He
There
was
you
peeing
go.
all the time. But you know, I mean, yeah, I knocked him over.
Well, they, you used to see like
He liked
Elvis.
it.
If you go back and look at footage of Elvis when he used to be on stage and the women are just falling and having to be carried out left and right.
Yeah.
I had seen that as a
I know
kid,
what it's
but I
like.
had never experienced
That's
it
how
until
you
Michael
dance.
Jackson.
Everyone dances.
They
You
would
know
be
what I mean?
falling out.
That's
man.
how y'all dance
Yeah.
together. You get that energy moving, and it moves your body. It takes.
And you want me to tell you one thing about Michael
Yeah,
Jackson?
Sure.
He got everybody kid that's born to this day. Like, guess what? If you walk up to my son, you be like, "Hey, what's your favorite artist?" I didn't tell him.
They love.
He said Michael Jackson.
They love Michael
You know,
Jackson.
like he
Wow.
goes to everybody's generation. That's why I think he
Wow.
probably is like the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
If you can travel to like the different generations, the people that
I
listen.
got
to
3
you,
teenage girls right now, and about 5 years ago, I I turned them on to Michael Jackson. They had never heard of him, nothing. They had never heard his music or nothing.
Yeah.
And the middle-aged one, she was, I guess, about, I don't know, probably 11 at the time. She got so hooked on Michael Jackson that I told him the whole story. I told him about the bad stuff, the good stuff. I said, but listen, we're going to listen to a few of his songs. And like literally to this day, every day he comes up, Michael Jackson comes up in our house.
Really?
Every day.
Still.
Yeah.
I got a whole one-liners I use with them, all Michael Jackson stuff, because they don't know it like I know.
Did you see the way he danced when he was a kid? He was so good.
Oh, yeah.
He was so far ahead of his time at like age 6.
Yeah. No, they say Michael Jackson, there's like some theories out there. He used to gravitate off the ground. Like,
You know what I mean? Because he started young enough that he wasn't held down by beliefs. No one told him you can't do this. You know, again.
I don't know, his
The
daddy
Matrix
might have been telling him. Apparently he was beating the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
Or at least being abusive.
But
in a
still,
physical,
in order to do that, he believed
Joe
he could.
Jackson was not a nice man.
You know what I'm saying?
No, he wasn't.
Like kids have imagination still. And
That's right.
They make things real, and then us parents.
Well, that's
a lot
why
of
I
times
think
tell 'em
you're
not
right. You're right. That's why he
was
stayed
young
a
enough.
child. That's why he stayed a child.
He had his magic.
Why he had Never
Yeah.
Land.
Right.
Yeah.
Neverland. Yes, exactly. Because supposedly, well, that's our limitations. Our
He never
own
really had a
beliefs
child
limits us.
life too, as well.
Yeah.
And that makes most of the
Like both
accusations
worlds
against
was
him
like
probably
crushed,
bullshit.
you know. It was like,
Yes,
Everything they
yeah.
said about him in that whole trial and stuff was probably bullshit. He really is like a little kid.
He is a
I
little
believe.
kid. He is
Yeah.
a little
I
kid.
think he was just like
He
he was hanging out with kids like
That's it.
he was a kid.
because he was a kid.
Could
you
you
know?
Nobody
picture
ever
him
talked about
seriously
it.
hanging out with a bunch of dudes in a
Yeah.
bar or something?
Yeah.
Or you picture Michael Jackson watching football? I don't know.
This man never got to hang at a park with some regular kids. His dad, like, get in here, I'm gonna beat your ass. Like,
You know what I mean?
like,
Hang
that'll
out
fuck
in a
you up for
normal
life.
situation in
and
life.
then now people starting to see that because now you got like artists that we grew up to, like Lil Wayne was a millionaire at 8, 12 years old, and now he just turned 40, and now we like, dang. That's why Michael Jackson, like we starting to see it happen to different artists throughout time now, But now like the media, like now the media starting to understand it to be like, well, dang, they gonna act like a kid because they never was a kid. He was around strippers and at bars, and you got to see all this at a little bitty.
But he wasn't allowed to do it. He got to
But
be
you
separate.
seen it.
He was locked away
Yeah,
because they didn't let a 5-year-old
Michael
hang with the others, but they're right there,
but he's seen it.
I know what
trust
it's
me.
like. Oh,
He
of course.
just didn't. He didn't just get to go. I'm saying
No,
you
he
gotta-
was right next to it, but he
'Cause
was never
my
allowed
kids,
to be it.
Like
He
my
wasn't
kids,
old
they
enough.
live here in the mountains and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so I let them go in areas sometimes to let them be a kid. You dig what I'm saying? Because like when they're around me, they're full adults. I'm being honest, and I can't let them be kids. But I have to send them somewhere else sometimes to let them be kids. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm dealing with the same thing. I don't know how to let the kids be kids. Really, I've been trying to help them, but
I can't do it. I don't know how. I just
I
don't.
don't either. That's
I don't.
that's a podcast. Let's figure this shit out.
Yeah, we really do. Like we need to make an episode about that.
No,
The only way,
Yeah.
I'll tell you how to let because I'm a teacher. I've
Yeah,
been
but-
around kids
But you ain't
a
been a
lot.
teacher during Cray Wetland.
Tons of them. Yeah, but I got to deal with, say, 80 kids all the time for years.
Yeah,
I learned how to deal with being this way. Well, actually, to be on their side and in their world is the best way to be with them, right? But it doesn't mean you can't lead. So one day, the most fun I ever had at school is I'm like, where do you guys go when you cut class? Would you show me? It was like Pride Day or something at school, so everyone was just kind of screwing off anyway that day. So I'm like, take me with you. Let's go. Let's cut class.
Yeah.
So they did. They took me to the wood shop. They took me to the back of the school where they hang out.
Yeah.
They took me to these various places they go, and I had so much fun.
Yeah.
I never had such a good time. It was awesome. I learned a lot, and I could comment to them about like all the shit they can get in trouble with, at these various places.
Yeah.
Point out stuff, teach them things, and somehow they learn out of it too. But I had a ball. I'm so honored that they took me to they trusted me,
Yeah.
And if you get their trust, you can relate with them, I mean, they're your own kids. They trust you, but they still think you're an adult, and you do. It's tough being a parent. You can't be the uncle.
Yeah, I don't want to be like the homie.
I can be the uncle.
It's so hard for me to even come down.
It's easier to bring the uncle. Yeah, right.
I be like, yo, if I come down, they gonna break through that bridge and go through like some bulls or like a herd.
I'm telling
Try
you,
to stay on that side of the fence.
yeah, I'm the uncle. I get to go home. I don't have to sleep wondering if I screwed up.
No,
I
but
do
you're
my
right though.
best.
You got to find out like what they into though. You
Hey,
know?
look at this stuff. It's pretty red. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a bunch of that over here.
I think there's hardneck in here
Yeah,
too.
like, I got
I wonder if this stuff did better,
Oh
right?
yeah, it did great. Yeah, I haven't
This,
found any of
this
those
might be
bad.
resistant.
Yeah, no, it's totally resistant.
Maybe we should
I haven't found-
separate those.
I just don't know how to
Yeah.
separate them when they all look the same.
They do until we bust it open.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess go through it, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can go through this shit all day
Yeah.
and still not put it
But
in.
kids,
We
they
have
just
boxes
something else.
there, too.
They all got their own personality though. So.
Well, I mean, like I got we got an 18-year-old. She hasn't quite finished school yet, but she's already written her first novel. Like they got when you let them get into that creative.
Oh, so me and you
Yeah.
screwed ourselves. We created monsters. Like
Yeah.
they like, because I'm starting to see that like my 2-year-old now speak 3 languages.
Gotta get ready to take Japanese.
What I'm gonna be able to do with her.
Oh, yeah.
Like when she get older, what I'm gonna be able to do with her. Like that's.
Well, somehow with the knowledge, I mean, like the talk we're having about these stories. I've been talking about these stories with the kids since they was little.
Yeah.
I don't hold back.
Me either.
I don't hold back nothing.
That's a red one.
In fact, I don't hold
Say
back
that.
enough. I should hold back.
I think, and my wife always put me on pause, man. Like, she know I'm a big mouth. Well, what everybody call me is that pastor that sits on the corner, I guess.
We
Behind my
all
back.
are in our way. I am too, man.
Yeah.
I can talk all day long,
Yeah.
Really.
But if it came down to it, if we came to that time, I will get my board and stand on the corner and be talking.
It's true.
I would be
Sometimes you
standing
have
on the
to.
stool. I would.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to do it, and people just think you do that just because like you going against what they believe.
Being
you
a
know
teacher
what
is
I'm saying?
like that. I did that every day. I was teaching chemistry, and I had kids get into Harvard and all these great schools. Princeton, one of my favorite students got into Princeton. His sister did too. 2 sisters did.
Yeah.
That's the best school in the world, in this country anyway. I
Yeah.
imagine the world. But anyway, teaching is good that way, but you have to deal with a lot, man. You got to deal with parents' expectations. I was told in my last job that I had to teach more in line with how the book teaches, and I don't think that way. And didn't work out so good, but it worked out for the kids. They said I was the best teacher they ever had in math, which is nice. But school, man, they want you to follow a certain program. You can't outthink it. You can't outthink
Well, that program today is fucked.
Yeah, it is, man.
It's fucked.
It's like we adopted something that really, we ain't gonna go into that. It was just like we don't adopt these crazy systems,
But see, that's the thing. It's like there's 2 worlds. So in that world, you can't even judge it because it's like there ain't no talking to anybody about it if they believe it.
Yeah.
You can't. You're not going to show them anything that's going to make any sense to them. They're going to be thinking you're crazy.
Yeah.
When it seems so obvious, there's things missing here. Something missing.
I know. Like when I was in grad school and I told that undergrad guy, I'm like, you got to believe in this to work. He's like, what? I'm like, just try it, man. You have to believe in the periodic table. Believe this carbon looks like this. Believe it looks like this. Pops into this. They interlock. They exchange stuff. They form a bond. In your mind, believe that. Believe it. And he did it perfectly next time. He did the exact same thing. He was very meticulous. Followed every direction exactly the same. Would not work until he believed it. Followed the same procedure. The same chemicals, the same things. 3 times, got nothing. And all I did was, I had a talk with him, and it worked perfectly with excellent yield, just like I did it. And then it became reality, But since I guess I was the first person that ever made that chemical, you had to believe it too. It wasn't that easy.
Yeah.
I had to etch the program a little better, You had to go back and forth. Sometimes just convincing others around you of a change you want in the program before it even happens. You know what I mean? Like I would tell people around me, we're going to do this. We're going to conquer this. We're going to go big on this. Or
And then they're like, yeah, go ahead.
I get my buddies to believe in me because they think I'm a superhero. And I try to think all my buddies are superheroes.
But
You
they
know?
ain't.
Yeah, but some of them, they are, if I believe they are, and they
Yeah.
can be that for me because I believe in them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's important to make all your friends into superheroes.
Yeah, I try to, man.
You know what I mean?
but-
Try.
Yeah.
At least give them
Yeah.
that power, like to try to
Yeah.
step up. Anyway.
Everybody think in today's generation,
Yeah.
they call it capping
Really?
or flexing or something like that. That's
really?
the slang for it.
Yeah.
So basically, it's saying that you like telling a lie. It's like they thinking
Yeah.
that, like they don't got
Really?
so programmed to be like,
I
hey,
say
you're
it's real.
around me and you can't be like that. They're programmed to be around and be like, you fat, ha ha. Yeah, so what? Like they want to
Yeah,
be
but
negative.
they might be
They
fat,
want to adopt negativity
Yeah,
every
yeah.
day. It's weird.
but they all should have a superpower. You know what I mean? You can be fat,
Yeah.
but you have a superpower. You got to find. Everyone does.
Yeah, everybody.
You give them a superpower, and they have it, and then you can form a group where everyone has their own superpower. Together, you're invincible, man.
The way he was describing it earlier with the beans, so like the green beans and having like 1, 2, 3. So the way I was shown to do it is it comes from the Bible. So it says, "Feed my sheep." So God said to like whoever it was,
Yeah.
"Feed my sheep." What does that mean? Well, what I've deciphered it to mean is if I see you having superpowers, that's me feeding that sheep. So I have to believe that you
Yeah.
have this ability.
Oh, feed my sheep.
That's what it
That's
means.
what it means.
That's what it
Excellent.
means. So I feed my sheep by
I
you
believe
start
that.
with your inner circle of people and you just start believing the highest and best of each of them.
That's it.
And then you spread it out
Right.
to the next
Right.
of the
Yes.
concentric circle.
And don't
You spread
doubt
out
it.
to the
No
next
doubt
one.
at all.
No doubt.
Like I said,
see you highest
you
and best.
climb the
and
biggest
happy.
mountain. There'll be a
Abundant.
notch to grab onto. When I grabbed that notch, I didn't know there was one there. I thought I would die for sure. I'm going to just reach my hand on a slippery rock. And I'm going to fall down. I'm going to put all my weight on one hand, let go of my feet, swing out, and 80 feet down to boulders, right? Straight down.
Yeah.
And I did. I just reached up there, and there's a perfect notch for my finger. It was cut out of there. In the exact spot I reached up, like it was made there.
Yeah.
And I could grab it so tight, I just pulled myself up with one arm. Then I only weighed 132 pounds.
Yeah.
Probably. You know, 5'11", just skinny, long, thin. It was easy. I'm glad I don't have to try that now. I learned. I don't do that anymore.
Trust me, we don't spread even more. It's just all about spreading the right way.
Well, that's what I'm explaining with feed my sheep is the right use of prayer.
Wow.
So people pray for something that's outside of themselves
Yep.
and expect to get something answered, a prayer.
Yeah.
But they don't know how to pray. They're doing it backwards, is how I see it. So
Nice.
we don't have to pray for something. We just have to pray like in a different way. So
In a
I've been
different
studying
way.
how to do that. And
No, it really worked though. It really works.
it really does. But it comes down to that. You just got to have no doubt in yourself. And I
Mhm.
find myself doubting myself
Yeah.
all the time.
Because like it's the
Right.
test. It's the test. Like
Right.
like when y'all came over there, I was like, hey y'all, this thing been out for 4 days, but it's a test to see if I really love cow farming. You know, it just putting me. It's like
Right.
my
When
faith.
you had to chase them down.
I had to chase the cow.
You
for like,
basically
oh,
had to
yeah.
hunt your own cows.
Yeah.
You can't just buy
It was a
cows.
test.
You
It was
gotta
a
be
test.
set out in the woods, and you gotta get
Yeah.
them a long way back.
Yeah. Are
Wow,
you
that's really
prepared? Are you
I gotta
really
walk
ready to do what it takes to
Yeah,
wake
so
up
that's
when
the-
this sun come up?
Oh, no.
To feed these animals, take care of them, make sure they're alive, make sure they clean.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
A lot of
saying?
work.
Do you really want to do this? You know,
Yeah.
like so it's like some stuff put in your face, and then now I have motivated some other people because I documented that, like how I failed. Most people would be like, "Yeah, I got my cows and fence built." You know,
It's all
they're not
perfect.
gonna show
It's
the
all perfect.
progress of like, damn, my shit broke loose, that fence broke a line. All right, let's build a whole new
Every
fence.
time. Every
Like,
time.
And people don't really call
Every time.
me or written me, emailed me like, hey man, that really motivated me, man. I was like, no, man, you gotta keep going if you
Yeah.
fail.
If you got goats, they're gonna get out.
They're gonna get out.
They're gonna get out, and they're gonna eat your stuff that you've been gardening, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They'll find whatever you don't want them to eat.
Yeah.
And they'll cause trouble.
And you just gotta deal with it, man. Like
Right.
pests. I deal with pests. I'm tired of people asking me questions about pests. Just deal with it.
Yeah, right.
That's just my opinion. Like you're gonna have bad years, you're gonna have good years.
Right. Some crops you get more of, focus on them. You know, learn
Yeah.
how to can or freeze.
Yeah.
Say. You can
It
get
don't even
multiple
really
years.
matter if the pests eat my plants. I want it like that. So
Well,
I don't know.
someone even told me that if the vegetable is somewhat tormented by certain things,
Yeah, they give it
better.
more nutrients. They give it more nutrients.
Yeah,
you
a
get
perfectly healthy
this.
plant won't get bugs.
Yeah.
They won't go to it. They're not drawn to
Yeah,
it.
they're not drawn.
Because that's the nature, like, is always looking for that. I don't know, like weird, like to fix shit, like on this
Yeah.
natural way.
Yeah.
Perfection.
It goes back with Rick saying when you break it all down, these plants have like these compounds and stuff too.
That, that are bigger than the atoms itself,
Yeah.
just like humans. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I mean, you could think of it this way: we're like atoms, right? One day we were carbon all by itself, you know, and then we become a molecule, you know. But you lose yourself, but you gain something bigger, you know. That's kind of what we need to enter into. You can't be alone in this world. We're humans. You might as well all realize we're all one giant molecule.
I know. I know.
We're one giant molecule, right? We're invincible.
Yeah.
But you know, we're fighting ourselves. We have to become a network. For some reason, we're not made to be individuals.
I don't know. I know whatever the molecule or whatever we are, the atom we are,
Yeah.
somebody took us and plugged us into this digital format. Like it's like this board, you know, that we own. Like it's just a format like that we own.
I understand. But if you're at the
What is
biggest
a
level,
glitch that we go back and forth? You know how you
but if you're at the bigger level,
it's just like glitching all day. You know what I'm saying?
it's like we're
That's
the
all
blood
I study
cells.
every
We're the
day,
blood
bro.
cells, but outside of ourselves, we're thinking about it.
Yeah.
And then there's doctors outside of us thinking about it in here, right? So what is that? That's like another matrix, perhaps.
Yeah.
And so there's this consultation, you know, to
Yeah.
different levels.
All these studies is real. They just a theory in the world just because the only that, you know, like the school you just named, like Harvard and Princeton,
Yeah.
these Yale, stuff like that. These are the school that approve all these studies, you know.
Yeah.
And they give it to the best scientists, you know. That's why I was telling people about coronavirus too as well. I like, yeah, it can be real, but you got other people got other studies of what to do and stuff, but they won't never push that study. I'm not trying to get in politics or nothing, but it's like 100 other people got ideas and let me hear theirs.
Because they created their realities.
Yeah.
Yes. And you could have people creating an entire different reality which doesn't jive with the other reality
Don't
created.
even drive.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it
It's
exists.
crazy.
But it exists.
Yeah.
And it behaves that way in that reality.
Yeah.
And you could be in the other reality, it doesn't behave like that. So, you know, that's why they always, it's funny, if you want to see a musician prove himself a magician, right? Or someone who's got powers,
Yeah.
they take a bunch of scientists. And the more weird it is, the more scientists they'll put to observe it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so look, you can't do it in front of 20 scientists that don't believe in anything to do with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Therefore, it doesn't, you know, and the more you do it, the more scientists they'll find until the entire world of science, every university is studying
Because
it.
you got to think about some of this stuff that you grew up knowing, like science-wise, is starting to become reality.
Yes.
In
That's
world
right.
in 2022. And,
Yeah.
you know, people just starting to be like, well, you know, to be honest with you, a lot of people just starting to look into a lot of things like in science now and be like, whoa, that could be real. You know how many people I have met and been like, yeah, Florida gonna be underwater like in like the last 30 days. I told my wife that yesterday. I was like, man, that's a bad sign to me not to go to Florida. This was before the hurricane.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was before all of that.
You were going to go to Florida?
No, I just keep hearing the trend. Like everywhere I go, somebody just say, yeah, Florida gonna go up. I never heard like a group of people.
Oh, yeah, I know.
saying,
I said it.
That's
I
what I'm
said
saying.
it. I said it.
I'm not trying. I never heard
Right.
like a group
Right.
of several other people. I get on the internet, somebody said. It usually only be like a few of us and be like, yeah, you know, Florida going underwater. And people be like, man, you crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Like people used to think I was crazy. Now it's like,
It's
even the
going
whole
underwater.
Matrix conversation.
It's going on.
You know, now everybody like, man, maybe this is a computer. I tell people that. I be like, yo, this definitely could be a big computer, dude, or it's a big type of board or system. I like, because we use so much technology, but it's old too, though. At the same time, you know, like so, like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, and y'all
Like
kind of made me
everything.
think today too, because like, all right, I had a water pump. I didn't leave the water pump at the field. I know I did. It was a water pump at the Widen Horizon field where the big cows at. right?
Yeah.
So you can ask my wife. I was mad. She said that the pump was at the house in the baby chair, you know, in the car seat. And I was like, no, I took it to the farm. I did. That's what I thought. So guess what? A month goes by. I done bought another little pump or whatever.
Yeah.
Guess where the pump was at? It was sitting over there next to my other pump when I laid it out. The guy come out and was like, hey, I had the pump, man. It was inside the building. What, a property that I'm leasing?
Yeah.
But it was weird. I never took the pump. My wife even said it. But when y'all just told me that, I was like, man, like that happened to me a lot, obviously. You know, but I'm saying I didn't leave it on the ground because we searched for days. All of us, we was all like out there. Everybody searched.
Yeah.
And we couldn't find it. Like nobody couldn't find it at all.
I know.
We
That's
ripped the
when they
whole
say-
house apart.
That's when they say, Malcolm, you got to come back down to earth because you're messing with reality. Because yeah, it's around me too. Stuff will happen all
It
the
was
time.
crazy.
It makes no sense at all.
I was like, man,
Sometimes-
that don't make no sense. Man.
Yeah,
I know I'm organized on my pump now. You know, I'm just being honest. I gotta feed my cow. Like,
Right?
It's like
It was just weird.
It'd be like asking, "Where's my car or my
Yeah,
truck?"
that's
You know?
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's how I felt.
Oh, I got some in the car. man.
Yeah, I get some, man. Grab some. That's how I felt. I felt that way.
So I feel like we're
Really
switching
did.
dimensions all the time.
Yeah.
At least day to day. Like when we go to sleep
No,
at
it's
night,
really true.
where do we
'Cause
really come back to?
It's really true. We are doing it, and then it's proven fact. They have put it on the news. They have put it worldwide. That they slamming all these, you know, elements, molecules, and everything together, and it's going all. But it's proven fact. This is a lot of people have died, and I know I don't bring it up to nobody, but there's a lot of people have died, and they're alive right now.
Yeah.
And I don't see them die. Like, you know, me and my wife will be like, oh man, that's sad. And then we'll end up seeing a person in concert. Like, what the fuck? We thought they was dead. Like, you know, I know the internet can make rumors and stuff like that, but when your stuff go viral and they make a whole ceremony of it or whatever, you know, like it's real. You've seen it. You're like, so I know it's messed up out here. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like nature is like.
That was mine. You can drink it either
Oh,
way.
yeah. I'm good.
Yeah. I mean, I just take a sip of it.
No, you good.
I had that poured earlier, but anyway, I couldn't carry another one. I'll get either way. Strawberries? You guys want some fresh strawberries?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But it's nuts though.
Yeah. We got watermelon still, man.
I see. Let me see what time it is.
So good. Mhm.
All right, I got enough time.
Yeah, we did.
I gotta go
That's a lot.
pick my own kids up.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, man.
We had this one was huge. This is just the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I got like about 4 more, I think.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, check that out, man. This has been on there for like 2.5 months or something. Long time.
Yeah.
This is the end of the year here at Frosted. But it's so sweet. I thought it would be too ripe. Man, that's perfect. Just watermelon?
Sure.
I'll put it in the compost.
Did you buy these strawberries? These are
Yeah,
from you.
yeah, they're organic. They're from Florida.
I'm still getting strawberries on my plant.
Yeah, wow, we aren't. We have entirely different worlds. You're in the woods there.
Yeah.
It's like the savannah down here or something.
Yeah, my little
We haven't
strawberries.
seen down there in a while, huh? Pretty nice. We just picked them beans. There's got to be 3 times more
Oh,
out there.
there's maybe 5.
At least 5 times more than
Yeah.
we got. Those 3 big bushels of beans.
Yep.
There's so many beans. And that was just beans from the supermarket. It said mixed beans. Nothing special. It's a cover crop. I wasn't expecting to harvest beans, really. I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
I was going to till it in, but I decided to let it go. Green beans are nice this time of year, huh?
Mm-hmm. Especially snow peas too.
We don't have those.
You did have some snow peas.
Oh yeah, they hate the heat in the summer. But yeah, I guess you can start them and get a second crop maybe in the fall. Never have. Yeah, I love the spring with snow peas, man. It's great.
Have you got anything growing all over at your place right now?
I got some turnips I'll probably pull this weekend. And I got some green onions. I probably got about. Then I got some lettuce in the ground, and what else I got? Arugula and carrots.
Does arugula make it through the winter, or is it something that you have to pull out?
Check it out.
Oh, you gotta pull out.
Yeah.
And then I planted some radish too. Then I'll be guest planting some more of this weekend right here. I'm gonna go out there and till up a spot.
This.
Harvest is next July.
I love watermelon, man. It's gonna be sad winter with no watermelon.
Sad winter.
Been
with no
nice.
watermelon. Sad winter with no watermelon.
And you know that song I played for you with that sound of the guitar the same, that
Yeah.
Western one? I
Yeah.
think I should. I'll pull back some of those guitar solos and leave spots, and you should put some lyrics to that. Over that one, just do almost like a spoken word kind of shit, you know?
Yeah, whatever you want me to do, man.
Because that's all set up too, and we ain't doing nothing with that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, let me know.
It would be good if it had a vocal over it, you know?
Yeah.
I can send that to you on your Gmail.
Yeah, let me know. We can do it. I'm down. I'll knock it out. I just wrote this
Play
song
drums.
called
Drummer,
I wrote
we
this
can do
song.
music after the podcast.
Yeah. For real, for real.
He's a drummer.
I just wrote this song called what is it called? Dang. It's nice, man. It's real deep though. I wrote it for my little nephew. I'm gonna send it to him.
Nice. That other one's catchy.
Nah, this one is real deep. You'll be like, whoa, that is real deep. It's about a girl, basically how girls used to fuck me over and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I used to like run behind them in love. And then and the hook be like, basically like drugs, like love is drugs. You know what I'm saying? I'm basically like talking about that in the hook and shit.
Love is drugs.
I don't even want to sing it. I basically gonna sell it, but I gave it to my nephew because he do music.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, man, you can have this shit, man.
I have that too.
It was real emotional. It was probably one of the best songs I ever written. Even my wife even said it.
Wow.
She was like, I like that.
Wow.
She was like, man, I feel like that.
That's pretty sad.
She was like, man, I feel like that. Like, she was like, you wrote the hell out of that. And she seen me write it fast.
Wow.
It was like done like a whole song in like a 1 hour. I wrote
Did you
it.
record it?
No, I just wrote it.
So we're gonna record it?
I'm gonna just give it away, man. I was like, man, these just one of these songs I'm gonna give away, man.
Oh, you mean let someone else sing it?
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna let somebody else sing it. I was gonna sell it, but I'm gonna keep it in the family and let my nephew have it.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you have any weed left? That little joint?
Nah, that was it.
We didn't finish it, did we?
Yeah, I think we did.
Ah.
Let me see. Yeah, that song beat.
So,
I come over today to plant garlic, but I guess we're gonna have enough over here.
Good
Just,
job
just
here.
over here is enough like to get started with. That might be enough for one of those beds. I don't know.
oh, this is more than one.
But you ended up doing like 4 or 5 beds there, right?
What do you got down there?
Bucket for just the shells.
Oh, sure, yeah. But I mean, this is enough for like probably.
I'm saying
Two
all these
beds.
all of these are good ones that I'm finding here.
Oh, you have separate ones that are good. I've just been throwing them all in there.
I separated.
I just been doing like this.
Yeah, I've been putting all the ones I know are good over here.
If I see something real rotten and I just
throw
kind
it
of go
out.
through it, I just kind of throw it right here on the side.
Are you even putting the rotten ones over here?
No, I said if I think they rotten, I just open it up to make sure, and then I just put it right
Oh,
here
gotcha.
to make sure, you know. That's what
I
I'm putting
put
the rotten
every-
ones in here.
I put everyone in here.
What do you put in here then?
I haven't put anything in there.
So that's just from me and Mr. Malcolm.
Yeah, I've done all these, and I've been putting the ones that are sketchy in
I'm
here.
just busting them up without looking at them.
Okay.
That's why I can do it fast. But my hands hurt at this point.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
we're good.
Yeah, I think this is,
I think
it takes a
I think
beating on your
we're-
fingers.
Yeah. I think we should
That's for
stop. We should plant something. So we have to plant today. I just want to get some of the ground before it rains because this would be perfect.
Yeah. It's been dry, man.
Ow.
It's been so good.
Ow. Yeah, my hands hurt.
But tomorrow, Friday might work too. I don't know if we're gonna get rain Friday or not.
No, not till 9 at night.
Oh, okay.
And then a shitload.
Yeah, well, we'll
Like
see, because
Friday
that
night,
storm's
it
been
says-
moving, man.
1.5 inches or something, or 2 inches, 2 inches Friday night.
With that
And
storm,
another inch and a half.
that storm
Saturday.
could totally like move and not even come here. I'm still.
No,
like,
it's
working on
wide enough. I think we're.
it. No, but I've been working on it, man.
Oh, I see. Good.
I want the rain.
I
though.
want
That's
the
what
rain.
it sucks. I want
I
the
want
rain.
the rain.
I just don't want a bunch of other crazy
I've had it
right now.
It's too dry. You see.
Right, I think my fingers are done too.
I should get your. Ow. Yeah, my hand hurts. Ow. My playing hand too. Yeah. This hand's played a million notes.
Yeah, there you go.
It's had a lot of years. It can't do this for long. It is kind of crippled. I had it pretty much stopped because I was getting tinnitus.
But I'll pay for them a couple cases or whatever you want to do on that, and the eggs as well.
No, man. You can have those. For helping. For help. I mean, is that enough?
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
a lot. You know?
Well, I'm just gonna peel them, and any of them that are good, I'm gonna plant, or I'll bring back over here, and we'll plant them over here.
Or pick
I'm gonna go ahead and, well, I might just
Pickles,
refrigerate
Yeah,
some
that's
of
what
them.
my wife been trying to get me to do, but I was like, I ain't got time for
I know, I don't either.
that.
But,
It's a lot of work. My hand hurts. Just gonna plant these and, you know,
Well, how many do you think that is? I mean,
it's enough for a bit.
yeah, but you did like 4 different rows down there, 5, right? That can go in the ground?
Oh, I know. It's not the whole thing. But still,
what do you
I
want
would say this is enough for like 2 of those things. at
So
least,
what do you
right?
want to do with these ones that I know are good? You want to put these in
Those
here?
2. No, I'll keep them separate. Those are. I would put purple here.
Well, I'm putting, it's mostly purple, but
It's
there are
funny.
some
We all
ones
have
that are
different
good, too.
ideas. You thought it was something. I thought it was just the purple pile, and you thought it was the good pile.
Yeah. Well, I know the only ones I put here were
Becomes a
ones
mix.
that were good.
Yeah. I just put purple ones in there. I didn't really evaluate them a whole lot.
Okay.
They were purple.
Well, look,
Ow.
that's
Yeah.
the bad ones there.
My hand definitely hurts. So.
But just remember that most of these are plantable, and most of them are purple.
Right.
I just left them on that. I didn't even take them apart. Because like even down there, I'll come over and help you. We'll just plant them, and I'll just take these apart as we go,
Okay.
or whatever. I mean, they can be busted apart too. But that's got to be at least a few hundred at least.
Too much. You can go about in 50 feet, 100 feet road. That's
Yeah.
a lot.
Well, he's got like, I think 5 or 6 rows down there already filled in, ready to go.
Yeah.
We ended up going down and picking beans, but